Good morning. So today is our kickoff for our 2015 theme, which is All In. Bless you. It is auspicious because of the Seahawks game today. I think that All In is very apropos for what's going on because there's an excitement, there's an inspiration that is in the city. And I have to tell you, I am caught by it, and I'm not even a football fan, really. I've never liked football until last year, and I'm just, there's something magical about the team that I saw in the '69 Cubs, where it's like they're just one being, sort of, you know, and it doesn't happen very often. So we are very blessed to be able to witness this kind of experience and live in this kind of excitement, regardless of what happens today. So we are also exploring how spiritual power and being all in go hand in hand. Now, Charles Fillmore is the creator, if you will, of the 12 powers, and they are sort of like the 7 chakras, only there's 12 of them, and they are located in the physical body. Charles Fillmore was the co-founder of Unity. And our job, if you will, or our calling is to use our spiritual faculties, our 12 spiritual powers, in a Christ-like manner. And so that's going to be like our goal. Like, okay, when we're looking at each power, how can I manifest and live this in a Christ-like manner? The faculty of power is located in the back of the throat. And one of the ways that we activate power is through sound, is through word. Hence, the Katy Perry song, Roar, that we started the service with. And I want to share with you, even though we heard the lyrics so beautifully sung by our wonderful, beautiful soloist this morning, I want to share with you, with Tiffany. I used to bite my tongue and hold my breath, scared to rock the boat and make a mess. So I rested quietly, agreed politely, and I guess that I forgot I had a choice. I stood for nothing, so I fell for everything. You held me down, but I got up, already brushing off the dust. You heard my voice, you heard that sound like thunder gonna shake the ground. I got the eye of a tiger, dancing through the fire. 'Cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. Louder than a lion, 'cause I am the champion, and you're gonna hear me roar. Don't you feel like roaring today? Roar! All right. And the truth is, CenturyLink Field will be roaring today, will it not? In fact, it gets so loud at the stadium that it registers on the seismograph. So we have little earthquakes that are happening while the game is going on. All in is a terminology that is used in a poker game when a player has moved all of their chips into the pot. So it's about not holding back, it's about not making excuses, it's about giving your all. Now, when I say giving your all, it's not about doing more or working more or adding more to your to-do list, but it's about doing the best that we can do in the moment that we are in it. It's one of the 4 agreements by Don Miguel Ruiz. Remember that book? What did he say? He said, always do your best. And the truth is, our best is different from moment to moment, from day to day, to year. But by doing our best, it means that we're willing to show up and be fully engaged in the moment. So again, I say that it's auspicious that our theme, All In, begins today at the same time that there's this game with the Packers that will decide who's in the Super Bowl. And part of the Seahawks affirmation, if you will, is I'm in. And they have it stenciled over the locker room door. And a writer, Jerry Brewer, said that players reach up and they tap the slogan with their hand as they leave the locker room. It is a personal commitment to devote everything they have, regardless of whether it's a practice, regular season, or the championship game. So if they're going into the weight room, they touch all in. I'm giving it all, I'm in, rather. They touch the I'm in, that I'm in fully as I'm working with my weights. It's a practice, we're going out to practice, I'm in fully. It's a game, I'm in. It's the Super Bowl, I'm in. So they give themselves fully and completely over to the experience. I like what Leona Bergstrom said. She said, the I'm in sign is a physical affirmation of an internal commitment to tap in and compete to be the best you. Not anybody else, but the best you. Players and coaches tap in to symbolize that they're setting all distractions aside and focusing solely on the opportunity in front of them to perform and compete. Sounds a little Buddhist-like, doesn't it? Sounds a little Zen-like, like I'm going to let go of all distractions and I'm only going to focus on what is in front of me right now. So we know that the Seahawks are all in. So my question to you is, what would it take for you to be all in? Because the truth is, there is risk in being all in, isn't it? What happens if you're all in doesn't work? What if you give all in over to an idea or a project or some creative experience and it doesn't work, it doesn't happen, it isn't finished or it isn't perfect? What if you give all in over to a relationship or a job and it doesn't work? I think to be all in means that we're vulnerable. And we don't like to be vulnerable, do we? We really don't like to be vulnerable because we could lose and we could be hurt. And then, because we're afraid, we tend to hold back. And instead of giving 100%, maybe we're giving 75%. But hey, that way I won't get hurt. But when we live this way, we are not fully engaged, are we? I love Khalil Gibran's poem about love. I'm not going to recite it for you all. But basically, he says that when love calls to you, when love beckons to you, go. Even though the sword that's hidden in his pinions is going to wound you and he's going to throw you on the threshing floor, and it sounds like this horrible thing. But he says, that if you are not going to embrace and allow all of love to enter your life, if you're not going to cry all of your tears and you're not going to laugh all your laughter, then you might as well just step aside and not really invite love into your life. And so it is with being all in all different aspects of our lives. It is to be present. Spiritual power in a Christ-like manner is about self-mastery. Last week, I quoted Timothy, who said, "For God did not give us a spirit of timidity, but a spirit of power and of love and of self-control." Marianne Williamson said it this way. She said, "Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant or gorgeous or talented or fabulous? But who are you not to be? Because you are a child of God and your playing small does not serve the world." Jesus said it this way. He said, when you have a light, you don't take it and put it underneath a table. You put it on a high stand for all the world, for the room to see, for everyone to see. And so it is. He said, you are the light of the world. Let your light so shine. That's what I love about Christmas Eve, when we take our candles and everybody hides them, puts them down, and the room gets dark. And then when the entire room lifts the candles up, we can see how bright it gets. It's the same thing that Marianne Williamson is saying. It's the same thing that Timothy is saying, is that we are here to express. We are here to be all in and to shine in that way. Jesus was all in, wasn't he? He gave everything over to his ministry. He gave his physical body over so that, we would get what he was talking about. That there is more to this reality than meets the eye, that there are other dimensions in life. Martin Luther King was all in, wasn't he? He's another one. He gave his life over for what he believed. He gave his life over for justice. He gave his life in his speech that he gave in Memphis before he died. It's classic because it's such a great speech about being all in. He says, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop, and I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place, but I'm not concerned with that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain, and I've looked over, and I've seen the promised land, and I might not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we, as a people, will get to the promised land. And so I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man, for mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord. He gave it all, didn't He? He was all in for what he believed. And yes, he lost his life, but he changed things. You know, the civil rights movement, the things that have happened because of him and his voice and his words, he was all in. And when we're all in that way, we can change the world. We can change how things are. So worldly power is about having control over others. But spiritual power means to have mastery over one's own thoughts and feelings. It is also a way that we empower others when we are using our power in a Christ-like manner. Now, Coach Carroll of the Seahawks, I believe, isn't using worldly power, that he is using spiritual power, that he is using soul power, if you will, because his guidelines for leadership are I have a few points. One is that it's about the team. It's not about superstars. It's not about any one person. It's about the whole. He believes in finding the best in people around him and challenging them to find it at all times. What if everyone you were with saw that good in you and challenged you to be that Christ self that you are? No one person gets the spotlight. That goes back to the superstar thing. But even on the platform, when they received the Lombardi Trophy, it wasn't about just one person. It was shared with the coaches, the players, with Paul Allen, with the NFL commissioner, and it was spoken as we did this together. And let us not forget the 12th man, yeah? Because that's about us. That's about the city. And I think that's why it has caught on in the way that it has. Because it's not limited to, oh, we're going to win this game and this is what it is. It's about embracing us all. And they give back to the community by becoming involved in community service to help local nonprofits for at-risk youth. So there's this great kind of giving back. And when I look at Coach Carroll and I look at how he's using power, it's not worldly power that he's using. No wonder the team is so magical. They better win today, huh, after this? I don't know. The Packers is going to come in and wow, I don't know. So what are some of the ways that you can be all in your life? When you think about your relationships, are you all in with your relationships? Are you all in with your spiritual community? Are you all in with your work, with your friendships? So one of the ways that that actually is my word for the year. It's been a theme that's been running, so it was also my word on our stone at our white stone ceremony. So one of the things that I am doing as a way of stepping into the all-in is I'm leaving for a Vipassana retreat on Wednesday. And it's 10 days in the silence. Now, I tell you, I've been in ashrams and monasteries, but I've never done 10 days in silence. You know, I've done 1 or 2 maybe. And I got the confirmation email, and it says, students are asked not to bring any personal food, reading or writing materials during the course. All cell phones, pagers, and other communication devices will need to be checked in on the first day and will not be returned until the course is over. Okay, so that's 10 days without a computer, 10 days without a cell phone, 10 days without a book to read or a journal to write in, and we're not allowed to you know, whatever practice you had before, throw it out the window unless it's Vipassana. So you know how you do the chanting? No chanting. You know how you do that mantra? No mantra. You know how you like your prayer beads? No prayer beads. So it's like, oh, okay. So anyway, I'm all in. So So I encourage you to come next Sunday because Terry McBride is going to be here and he's going to continue with this theme of power. It's about power and mastery in our lives. And then Charles Holt will kick it off. February is imagination. It's also Black History Month. So we're going to start off on that theme. So to be all in also means that we need to accept our divinity, that we need to change our languaging and we need to change how we approach God, that God is not out there, that God is not and in here, but also it is where we live and move and have our being, right? So it's one of the reasons that we've changed the prayer for protection, because it's owning that divinity. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love. The power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. So part of being all in is owning that divinity. So when we're all in, we are setting distractions aside and we're focusing on the opportunity that is right in front of us. And yes, when we're all in, sometimes we might make mistakes. Sometimes it isn't going to happen, right? And Pete Carroll said this about mistakes. Just because you make a mistake, it doesn't mean that you don't have all the good in you for your future. People make mistakes all the time, and if there's patience and love and you care for people, you can work them through it, and they can find their greatest heights. I love that this message is part of our program because it really needs to be a part of all of our programs. So there will be a great roar from CenturyLink Field today, and when we use our power, we too roar. So use your voice to speak your truth. Use your power to be all in. I got the eye of a tiger dancing through the fire because I'm a champion and you're going to hear me roar. Louder and louder than a lion because I'm a champion and you're going to hear me roar. All right. You're up, John.